was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was in action. I didn't know the grace of God was at hand. But now I can say you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day. Gotta let it go. Let it all go. This is what I have to say. I believe and I let it go. I let the Spirit run my life. Yeah, I'm always looking right. Yes, I'm always right. You're
Good morning. Welcome, everybody. I'm Susanna. I'm here to assist you with the service today, so I'm so glad you're here. We start out by lighting the Christ candle. We just did that before the service started. It's a sign of the beloved divine within us that is here present, that's in all of us, and we light that to shine our light throughout the service. Let's just take a moment just to welcome our life energy into the room. We thank you, divine beloved, that you're here with us, and we thank each person that chose to get out of that warm, cozy bed to be here in community, to share their light and be inspired by the word, the music, the love and companionship that's here for all of us just to kind of bask in and be enveloped in this next hour. So thank you so much for being here. I wanted to have you say our mission statement with me. It's right up there. So together, let's say it together. Here we go.
With God as our source, unity of Columbus inspires people to realize and express their divine nature in an awakening world.
Let's just take that in just for a moment. A divine expression in an awakening world. And I just wanted to see, I'm welcoming everyone, but we want to just make a special welcome if someone's here for the first time. We have a little packet of information that tells you a little bit more about the church, so I just wanted to raise your hand and acknowledge you. Seeing no hands, it means everyone's been here, so that's wonderful. And then I want to just affirm that Unity is a very inclusive movement, that what I loved most about Unity when I came here, that no matter what path you're on, what way you're serving God, that you're welcome here to do both. We're just really glad that you're here, and we hope that you take something that's really precious with you. So with that, I want to first introduce the speaker today, Dr. Will. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about him and his wife. So, Dr. Will Tuttle is a composer, a pianist, educator, and author of the best-selling book, The World Peace Diet. He published in 18 languages, devoted to providing uplifting, healing, and original music to helping people awaken their inner wisdom and genius. A PhD in education from the University of California at Berkeley, focusing on educating intuition. So we all want to know about that intuition, that guidance from within. Thank you. Taught college courses in philosophy, humanities, mythology, creativity, and comparative religion. Former Zen monk and Dharma teacher in the Korean Zen tradition. He's currently conducting a music, art, and education ministry with his wife, Madeline, so welcome. A visionary artist from Switzerland. Madeline specializes in paintings that create the beauty of animals and nature. She's also a flutist and a Waldorf teacher, and you can see some of her paintings up here. They travel and they provide lectures, concerts, workshops, and throughout North America and worldwide, inspiring art, prints, cards, books, as well as CDs. So you'll get to hear more from Dr. Will later, and so we just want to thank you for traveling here.
Yes.
So we're doing something a little unique and unusual today. We're creating a ceremony for somebody that's really treasured around here. So Reverend Dan has zoomed in, and the licensed Unity teachers are going to come up, and we're just going to do a short and sweet ceremony for Darren this morning. So come on up, Darren.
Am I on?
Yes.
Hello, yes.
Yes, sir.
You
Are
are.
we ready for me? My part?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Well, let us begin. Where two or three are gathered together in my name, I am there in the midst of them, we read in Matthew chapter 18. Unity offers no prescribed doctrine or creed other than to seek the truth and to follow the commandments that Jesus gave us to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself. In our unity of purpose and our love of God as dedicated truth students, we believe that the church is not really just a place, but always a people. Never a fold, but always a flock. Never a sacred building, but always a believing assembly. Christ is the head of this assembly and the only true organization in spirit. Unity means oneness, and real unity consists of all individuals who have developed the consciousness of truth, the consciousness of the Christ within. You, Darren Wells, have given of yourself, as we read in Ephesians 4, to be a light worthy of the calling to which you have been called, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love, making every effort to maintain the unity of spirit in the bond of peace. You have consecrated yourself to promoting the welfare and growth of our church and of the entire unity movement, through following unity principles, to looking to the Christ within for wisdom and guidance and inspiration. We recognize that you are here by the appointment of God. We commend you to be open and receptive to the fulfillment of God's divine plan in and through you for the unity work as a whole, both here at the Unity of Columbus and throughout the world. Amen.
Amen.
I hereby recognize you, Darren Wells, as a licensed Unity teacher, charged with the responsibility of serving this church with faith, love, and joy. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
I think each of the LUTs or the licensed unity teachers want to come up and give a blessing, and then Sydney will offer something.
Darren, as you so generously have manifested all 12 powers, I affirm your expression of enthusiasm for seal. Your enthusiasm and steadfast leadership are major factors in why Unity of Columbus continues to exist and thrive. Thank you, Darren.
Darren, I affirm divine guidance for you. I envision your being directed through spirit within and confidently following its guidance throughout your entire life. Thank you for all you do, have done, and will do. Blessings.
Welcome, Darren, to the Licensed Unity Teacher Path of Truth. With this spiritual commitment, you are dedicated to following in the movement initiated by our wayshore, Jesus Christ. I see you spreading and facilitating the establishment of God's plan on earth, bringing about that kingdom. Your unfolding good is made manifest. You develop your divine 12 powers, and you hold to the highest visions, such as the concept of the love community popularized by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Each step of your journey is blessed by divine love, wisdom, understanding, balance, peace, joy, order, abundance, and intuitive guidance. Blessings always. I'm going to give you the rose first. And then you've got a photo for all of them. Thank you. Susanna.
Darren, I just affirm this beautiful light that I see most Sundays when I'm here. And I just bless the playfulness and the zeal that you bring to the church and all those that you touch. That will just forever shine, and your creativity, your divinity will just continue unfolding to, I guess, places that you've never even imagined. And I just want you to know how grateful we are to have you here and a part of the Licensed Unity teacher team. And then Sydney will present something for the board and the congregation.
Darren, I can't begin to express my love and care for you. You have done so much for this church, and I really, truly enjoy working with you. So on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the congregation, we want to present you with this lantern. And what it says on here is pretty cool. It says, Darren Wells, LUT, let your light shine to all those you serve. Love your Unity family. And if we could say in unison, we love you. We love you. We bless you. We bless you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ in you. And we behold the Christ in you. Thank you. Thank you all.
All right. Allow you to connect with each person afterwards, just to share what this is like for you. Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Alrighty. So moved by that, Darren. So sweet.
Thank you, Reverend Dan.
Thank you, Reverend Dan. Thank you so much. Kind of like to bring that back to the service. Let's affirm our statement of faith together.
Yes.
I'll say it once and then we'll say it together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, all love. Together?
There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good, all love.
And I'd like to invite Christina up to share the daily word.
All right, the daily word is on grace. Grace, please.
Grace.
All right, the statement is, I trust in grace in my continent of blessings. Repeat.
I trust grace is my constant blessing.
As an example, God did not ever worry or earn God's approval or favor. God is assurance that I am the one to God and there to God all is. I know oneness during a time of deep spiritual communion, understanding that I'm fully a human, fully divine, though this is ordinance of my experience that grace deepens. I understand grace is more of a gift from God and begin to see it as an aspect of my divine inheritance. Grace is not a blessing I need to hope for. It is a blessing I can count upon. It is a trusting with all have I need and when I need it, that my support will come to me and come from most unlikely channels. Grace is known that God is with me, within me, through my life. For the grace of you who have been saved, the faith in through not your own doing, it is a gift of God. Ephesians 2:8. And I'd like to repeat one more time. I trust that grace is my constant blessing.
I trust that grace is my constant blessing.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Christina. All right, now is the time where we go into affirmative prayer and leads towards our meditation. So that person that's going to get ready to bring the prayer box up, maybe they sort of get themselves in that place. So however you sort of turn within, you might find your feet on the floor or your gaze bent down or tilted down. I just want to affirm that for unity, we don't pray to a God out there. We pray to the divine, beloved source within. And when we think about others, we don't pray as much about whatever it is we're worried about, but more about the power, the grace, the love, the divinity within each of us. And we affirm that wholeness for those that we love and care about. And we know that power that is in us, as us, for us. And at the same time, it's so much bigger than us. If you can imagine in size like a drop of the ocean, or maybe a cup, or maybe a water truck, but there's still an ocean of that powerful, divine nature. And we come from that place, knowing that every human being has that within. And we're so grateful. So with that, I'd love to take a moment. Sometimes it's powerful when you speak out loud, or you anchor, or you affirm this person you love and you care about. So for this moment, if you want to speak your person out loud, we'd love to just hold that just for a moment. Christian. Community, our neighbors. Behold those folks in Palestine and Israel, in Ukraine and Russia, all the places we know and we don't know, where there's conflict and harm. And with that, we invite the prayer box to come up, remembering it's there. Voila! And we just take a moment, like energetically with the prayer box, keeping in mind that silent unity and the daily word's been going on for like 100 years. So that's what power we have behind us. So with that, we'll allow you just to kind of sink into Dr. Will's music and meditation.
meditation time together and connect with our breathing. With every exhalation, allowing ourselves to let go of any thoughts of the past or the future and enter more deeply into this moment. Knowing that the only holy moment is right now. As we connect with our breathing, we enter more deeply into the sense of gratitude for this precious opportunity that we have to be together in this beautiful outer sanctuary, this unity sanctuary here in Columbus, knowing that this outer sanctuary is a reflection and a manifestation of the inner sanctuary, where we dwell always in unity with the infinite love that is the source of our life, the source of all life. We give thanks for this community, everyone who is part of this ministry, and for all the teachings that turn our minds away from the delusion of separateness, to the truth of the infinite interconnectedness of all life. We give thanks for all of the teachers in our life. And we give thanks for this beautiful earth and all the manifestations of life here, the rivers and forests and mountains, the jungles and plains, the oceans and islands. We give thanks for all of the animals celebrating their lives in the air and the water, on the earth, and for the whole human family on the adventure of awakening to our true purpose here. And we give thanks knowing that the light that shines at the very heart of the universe is shining right now in our heart. In every cell of our being, bringing every dimension of our life into vitality, into harmony, into joy and freedom and creativity, into alignment with our purpose, the purpose that we have for this lifetime. Just allow the music now to deepen our connection nature. Abiding in our true home, abiding in love, compassion, joy and peace, in abundance and harmony, in truth, in unity. May all beings be happy and at peace. May all beings be free. May each and every one of us continue to awaken to our true nature. And may we together continue to work to build a more enlightened society, a world that cares for everyone, a world that reflects the inner Christ truth of love, for all living beings. May we all realize the original brightness of our minds and hearts. And be part of the awakening of human consciousness on this earth. Through the infinite spirit of truth and love indwelling, we give thanks knowing this is so, and so it is. Thank you, everyone, for joining in the meditation. I'd like to just play a short piece of music before we go into the morning message. And so I'd like to invite you to let the music take you on an inner journey. This is a piece of original music. It's called Benediction of Light. Just to send a blessing out into our community and into the world during these challenging times, and just dedicate this to the healing of all of our relations. Enjoy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to the piano tuner, and thank you, Tony, for your great music. I really appreciate everyone, and congratulations on a wonderful new licensed teacher here at Unity of Columbus. It's really an honor to be here on this special morning. Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Dan. We know Reverend Dan for decades, actually, and been traveling to Unity churches for over 40 years now. And so we've been to lots of Unity. We've been here a few times over the years also. It's great to be back in Columbus. And thank you, Madeline, for the beautiful paintings we have behind us. And Susanna for everything. So I'd like to talk a little bit about awakening your inner genius. And the idea behind that is our intuition, our inner guidance system. And I think we all know in our bones that there's no friend that is more beloved to us than an inner guidance system, an inner knowing that we can learn to trust, that will guide us to help us to live our life, not somebody else's life, but our life. And one of the reasons I love Unity, and Madeline and I are so dedicated to being part of this movement for all these decades, is that I think it's one of the healthiest movements on the earth, in the sense that it's really devoted to what I just talked about. Each one of us accessing our inner wisdom and letting that shine into the world for the benefit not only of ourselves and our loved ones, but for everyone. And I think the underlying idea, as we heard earlier, is really an idea of inclusion, that we not only are inclusive of everyone who comes and so forth, but at a deeper level, inclusive of the world's wisdom traditions. We don't have this idea that, well, we have the one right teaching. If you don't believe this, you're going to go some bad place. You got to believe what we believe. We have this underlying idea through Charles and Merle Fillmore that the world's wisdom traditions have a lot to teach us, and Jesus and Christianity are incredibly important. But there's also no conflict, essentially, with many of the other wisdom traditions. And my own background, besides studying Christianity quite a bit, is also in Buddhism. And I just love this underlying teaching of Charles Fillmore, where he says that each one of us should go straight to headquarters. You've heard him say that idea. Each one of us has a capacity. We don't need an intermediary. We can go straight to headquarters ourselves. For him, it was easy. That meant, well, I'll just ask Myrtle and see what she thinks. The rest of us, we're kind of on our own, right? Like a Madeline, I can ask her. But the basic idea is we have this inner capacity, and we can learn to connect with that, and that's something that is always present. But it doesn't mean that our life will just always be comfortable and easy. It means that we'll be living authentically. We'll be living our life authentically. So we may have differences of opinions and all these other things, but we have this capacity to live our life authentically. And I think what really is essential in the whole thing is understanding, first of all, that what we are is not merely this physical body. This is a big problem in our society. We are taught from the time we're born that this is what we are, this matter. And that basically gets us started on the wrong foot, because what we are is a manifestation of infinite and eternal consciousness that was never born and will never die. What we are was never born and will never die. We're here manifesting through a physical vehicle, but the being is not this thing. It's what activates and makes it possible. In the Buddhist tradition, just as one example, and this is true, I think, of all the great wisdom traditions, in the old days, before statues and all that was centuries later. The Buddhist main image was a footprint. And I think it's very appropriate, because when you go to the beach or somewhere and you see footprints in the sand, you don't walk up to the footprint and go, "Good morning, George, how are you doing today?" And you know that that's just a footprint. That's not the being that made the footprint. So remember, this right now is a footprint waving at you. You know, the being, we don't see the being. What we are is invisible, eternal, activating principle. And that's really the spiritual path, is to uncover, discover, and actually awaken to this and live this. Because when that happens, we realize that we're not here simply to accumulate or compete. We're here actually to learn, grow, contribute, and awaken and be part of the healing of deception and delusion that is so rampant. That's the main deception. The main deception is you're just this thing, and that leads to what in the Buddhist tradition is called the three poisons. The three poisons are basically ignorance is the number one, and then what's called greed and hatred, or greed and anger. Basically, it's thinking I'm this body, and then wanting to get things because I need to be secure and safe and accumulate, and then wanting to keep things away. I don't want that. So we're in this constant struggle of trying to get and keep away. And if everybody's doing that, you have conflict because we learn to manipulate each other to get what we want, keep away what we don't want, and all of that. But see, that will begin to evaporate when we begin to realize I'm the source of all of this. I'm the awareness within which this is arising, the space within which all of this is happening. And then we begin to realize everyone is the same. We have the same thing looking out of our eyes that is the source. And then we feel a sense of kinship and love and kindness for other expressions. And our greatest joy comes from blessing others. We realize that we can't get anything. And then the golden rule begins to live itself. The golden rule in all the traditions, we naturally find that we like to give to others whatever we would like to have for ourselves. And we realize also the wisdom of the fundamental teaching is that whatever we sow, we will reap that, right? Whatever we put out, it's definitely going to come back. So the more we put out love and joy and generosity, the more we have abundance and happiness and freedom in our own lives. This is the underlying teaching, but in our society, we're not taught that. We're taught and we're conditioned in many ways in the opposite direction. So what intuition is essentially is the capacity that we have to awaken to this inner guidance system that's based on our true nature, that understands that and lives that and knows that. And if we're not dependent on and relying on our intuition, we're being guided by something, right? We get up in the morning and we do something. Whatever we do, we make coffee or we meditate or we go to work. We're always being guided by something. If we're not being guided by our intuition, what are we being guided by? The cultural program. The cultural program does not have your best interests at heart, basically. The cultural program is driving us, and it's powerful. It has a huge momentum. As soon as you turn on the TV or listen to most of what people are saying, it's the cultural program. And it comes from our past, from our parents and teachers and ministers, not the unity ministers, the other ministers. The cultural program, it's something to be just really conscious about. And instead of just being propelled by this program that always keeps us wanting something we're not wanting and competing in many ways, in various ways that are really not that healthy, we begin to be guided by our inner guidance system, our intuition to fulfill the purpose that we're here to fulfill. And when we do that, I think we become a healing power. We begin to encourage others to do the same thing. And so that's why I think it's very important to have a regular spiritual practice of some kind. How many of you have a regular spiritual practice that you do like every day? Some of you, it's really important, I think, to take time every day. That's great. To learn to bring the mind back to the present moment, to be, in a sense, the witness of all the feelings rather than just being irritated and agitated. Be able to separate a little bit and watch these things arising and breathe and look out at the world with love and be a radiating center of kindness and love for others. Even if we're standing in line at the post office or driving the car, we can be sending love and kindness and compassion to others, because everyone we meet is having problems. We all have difficulties. And so the more we can have the sense of kindness for others and radiate kindness for them, the more we uplift the vibration of our world. And I think that's what Charles and Merle Fillmore and the Unity Prayer Tower and everything we're talking about, it's about being healers. And the way we're healers is we look beyond the surface. We don't just see the body and what age and whatever it is. We see the being that makes that possible. And when we see that, that brings forth the best. We begin to be agents of healing, but we can't really do it if we don't see it in ourselves. So that's why the inner practice is so important. So I want to thank all of you for that, for doing the inner practice to help manifest that. And so I just want to talk a little bit also about the idea of community, because really community is where the teachings are activated, it's where we live our lives, it's where we practice. Right? I love Charles and Merle Fillmore's basic idea that unity is the church of practical Christianity, right? We're not just theorizing about these things. We're going to actually do the best we can to live this. And so I'll tell just a little bit about my own life growing up. I grew up in New England, in Concord, Massachusetts, which was kind of a neat place to grow up because there was this kind of revolutionary kind of energy, at least among some people. The Revolutionary War started actually in Concord. Remember that? Concord and Lexington. Hardly a man is now alive that remembers the famous day and year of the midnight ride of Paul Revere. That was really a big thing for my father anyway, and the people. And we would, like every April 19th was Patriots Day, and we would celebrate the Revolution, and my father would get dressed up in his Minuteman outfit, and a lot of men would do that, and they'd get the gun off the wall, we'd go down to we would reenact the battle at the Old North Bridge, and send the redcoats, the British, back to shoot at and get out, and celebrate the idea that we should have a freedom and have a positive way of living. And later, in the 1800s, there was another different kind of a revolution that happened in Concord. It was the Transcendentalists. Have you heard of Thoreau and Emerson and so forth? So I learned to swim in Walden Pond, and was born in Emerson Hospital and Thoreau School and Alcott School. And so these people were really bringing in teachings from Asia that I think have been very, very healthy. And Charles and Myrtle Fillmore were reading some of this stuff, and it's some of the ideas like we have in Unity and in New Thought in general of God as this infinite divine principle. That's really an idea in many ways from the Taoist tradition. You can be in harmony with these principles, and your life will then be in harmony. Or the idea of God as equally female as male from the Hindu tradition, or the idea of God as infinite mind from the Buddhist tradition. Now, these things really, I think, deepen and help us to understand in a more powerful way how we can live in truth. But anyway, in my own life, when I went away to college in Maine back in the early 1970s, I remember studying these things, and I just started changing. Instead of just wanting to go into business and all these things, I started reading about spirituality and Christianity, and then also some other meditation. And there was one book that really kind of lit my fire, I guess you could say. It was called Cosmic Consciousness, written in the 1890s by a man named Richard Buck from Canada. Basic idea was that everyone that we meet, all of us, we have what he calls self-consciousness, right? We care basically about ourselves. That's the number one priority. And maybe our family, and but we go through life, kind of looking out for number one. But he said there were some people, rare people, who had basically evolved and matured beyond that. And they had what he referred to, they lived within what he called cosmic consciousness. People like Jesus and the Buddha and many great sages and saints and mystics and poets, both men and women. And he talked about the different ones through the ages who had attained cosmic consciousness and how their teachings and their writings had really uplifted humanity so much, because they didn't live from a point of view of self-consciousness. They lived from the point of view of how can I bless the world? And they lost this sort of pettiness and this narrow fear of death and this narrow kind of perspective, and they really lived to be a healing force. And so, but what he said I thought was really important, because what he said was that it is the destiny of all human beings to attain cosmic consciousness. That's really the point. That's the purpose. We're not supposed to be here just to stay in that level of self-consciousness. We're really here to mature beyond that to cosmic consciousness. So I remember going home at the breaks and telling my parents, Dad, Mom, we're not here just to make money and have a nice house and all that. We're here to attain cosmic consciousness. And my father would say, well, I was actually spending a lot of money on that education. I'm not sure how that's going to help you get ahead in the world. But anyway, he was somewhat open. My mother was an artist. He taught me to play the piano, So, but there was this. To my delight, my younger brother Ed, when I talked to him about it, he said, yes, this is what we should do. We should do our best to attain cosmic consciousness. So right after I graduated from Colby in 1975, we decided we would do that. We were going to attain cosmic consciousness. The problem was, what do you do? And we thought about it, and then we figured it out. We know what to do. We'll go to California. So we thought if we just went to California, we would attain cosmic consciousness. So this was 1975. We headed out to San Francisco, but we wanted to do it by walking. and just walk like in a meditative way, like the sadhus in India. They would walk and meditate, and the universe would take care of them. And so we tried it out. And I remember walking down the driveway of our little house in Concord, and with a driveway with backpacks and some fresh baked cookies from my mother, and we headed west. And we walked and made our way west for quite a few weeks, and we got as far as Buffalo. And in Buffalo, it was freezing. It was October, and so we thought, all right, let's just head south. So we actually walked down through upstate New York and across Pennsylvania into West Virginia, and then down through eastern Kentucky, and then into Tennessee. And we got down into what we heard they called the Bible Belt, which I didn't know what that meant, being from New England, but I found out pretty quickly. And they tried to save us every night. We had no money, so we stayed wherever we could. We spent the night quite often in churches. We just lay down on the floor, leave in the morning, but they would try to save us. But we would we stayed in forests, we stayed in people's houses, we stayed in jails, we stayed in rescue missions, we stayed in all kinds of places. And it was an amazing experience. I should write a book about it. But the underlying thing that came to me was that, and I remember like in eastern Kentucky, it was interesting because we happened to be there on a Sunday morning, and these people had hardly any money. They had little shacks with dirt floors or little wood, maybe 7 or 8 people in one room. But we spoke to the Sunday school, I remember, and they said, would you talk to our Sunday school kids and tell them what you're doing? And we said, yeah, we're walking to get closer to the divine truth of our being and meditating. And we said, the main thing to remember is what Jesus said is true. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and everything else shall be added unto you. Focus on the most important thing, attaining a higher consciousness, and things will work out. That's the most important. That's why we're here, because we were finding it true. We were actually not starving. We were somehow by a miracle we'd get some food and we would give and then we'd come back, but we didn't use money hardly. So anyway, in that case they gave us $30 as a donation, and we were like, wow, okay, now what? So I remember we went to had some lunch, and back then you could get lunch for 2 people for about $12. So we gave the waitress an $18 tip and kept going. The idea was don't hang on for today, just let every day take care of itself. We eventually ended up in a community, visiting a community in Tennessee called The Farm. And in 1975, The Farm was the largest hippie commune in the world, and they were all from California. And so we felt like we met them in the middle, and they were all vegetarians too, which was kind of neat, because I didn't know about that, but I decided to never eat meat again after meeting them, and I've never done it ever since. I've been now for 1975, and when I met Madeline many years later, I found out the same month and year, this young Swiss artist in Switzerland decided to do the same thing. I always say the smartest thing I ever did besides going vegetarian was marrying Madeline. We just had our 30th anniversary. I met her in Switzerland. But we ended up walking all the way down to Alabama, and believe it or not, there was actually this meditation center in Alabama, in Huntsville, and eventually got out to California. And I actually, ended up getting a PhD and becoming a Zen Buddhist monk and all these other things. But I discovered unity early on, way back in the 70s, in Alabama and Atlanta. And I realized that unity is such an incredibly beautiful vehicle of teaching, of profound wisdom that's available to us. What the Fillmores did is really tremendously important, because they take the essence of the religion and they put it in a vehicle that empowers us, but it also makes us responsible for it. We're responsible to bring this to the next generation, because this is the essence of the teaching of love and healing and awakening to the truth that we are, without having it to be a slave to any particular doctrine. So it's really for us to discover the adventure of that, the spiritual adventure. And it really leads, I think, ultimately to joy, the joy of our true being. And so I want to close with that idea. Just the basic. I remember on that walk with my brother, we didn't have anything. We didn't have any reason to be happy. We didn't have any security. We had no safety. But I remember walking along some little road in Kentucky or wherever it was. I would have these waves of joy just washing over me for no reason. And that is the truth of our being. When we're living our life, when we're connected with our intuition, it doesn't mean if other people approve of us or not, we'll have this underlying bubbling spring of joy, because that is our true nature. Our true nature is joy. And when we begin to bring our life into alignment with that, we're not worrying and regretting and blaming. We actually feel, well, I'm really grateful I got another day to learn, grow, and contribute, and that sense of joy. So this is something we can all connect with and cultivate. And I think when we do that in a community, then we are really coming to this earth and living a worthwhile life that is beneficial not only to ourselves and our loved ones, but to future generations and to all living beings. So thank you all so much for your kind attention and for the efforts you're making to help make these teachings alive. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Will and Madeline. This is a time in our service we'd like to take a love offering. This is the way our ministry is supported here. So I want you just to give from your heart. And if there's not monetary, we offer a blessing, because a lot of your journey about trust and really trusting in that divine abundance. So I really appreciate that. I think we'll say the love offering blessing together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
And I am grateful.
Okay, so as the baskets go around, I'll play a short piece of music. This is called Dance for the Arctic Moon. Enjoy.
beautiful music. I think it is definitely worthy of we just put our hearts and souls together just to bless the offering. This abundance that people have so joyfully given will support our ministry, continue to uplift us weekly and all through the week and those in need. And so it is. Yeah, I just want to take a moment, just a ton of gratitude for Dr. Will. I acknowledge that today is Tony's first day, so I enjoy collaborating with you, and Jonathan's here, making sure we're all recorded, and then the LUTs that keep up and even Darren on his big celebratory day, he's kept us all in the flow of technology. And I love that Reverend Dan zoomed in, so thank you all for coming. And just for a moment, I don't see any kids in the sanctuary. My little granddaughter's up there puttering around, and I think there's another little one, maybe John, I'm not sure if your little one's up there. Yes, so we'll just send a blessing to them and all of the children that are here and not here. So here we go. We love you. We bless you. We truly appreciate you. And we behold the Christ in you. And all is well. Okay, great. Here's a couple announcements, and Dr. Will, I'll have you come up. So just a couple things. On December 2nd, next Saturday, Joseph Jackrook is going to do Discover the Hero Within. I bet you got a chance to see him after the service because he's been sharing with different people. I appreciate that. There's an apple pie sale continuing on, so check in with Roxy. And Roxy's here. Yep, she's got her hand up. December 9th, there's a holiday family fun night from 3 to 5, so let's make some crafts and just kind of have some fun. An ongoing chocolate sale that just continues to contribute to our ministry, and the chocolate bars are over here. And then next Sunday, Shirley leads a dynamic women's book club, and we're doing the book, The Untethered Soul, at 12:30. So we'd love for you to join us. And just a heads up, in January 7th, there'll be an annual meeting. And with that, I think I'd love to have Dr. Will tell you about the workshop that him and Madeline are going to do.
Thank you, Suzanne. Yeah, just briefly, Madeline and I will be here right here in the sanctuary at 12:30 for opening the intuitive gate, the keys to develop your intuition. And remember, Albert Schweitzer said the key to happiness is good health and a short memory. And this is pointing to this underlying idea that we can come into this moment and deepen and connect with our inner wisdom. And so we'll be sharing some techniques of meditation and imagery along with music and art to help everyone who's attending connect with your own unique way of accessing your intuition. So please join us, and we look forward to seeing you then. And we also have some things out on the table if you're interested as well. So much love to you all. Keep up the great work. Thanks again. Thank you very much.
So let's all stand to close our service together with a prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us.
Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
And if you feel comfortable coming out to the center circle, we hold hands for the last song, but it's also okay to stay right where you are in your seats. Whatever gives you the blessing or the closing of the service.
Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was made.
refreshments. We have a cake for Darren, and just give him a big hug and warm wishes for his journey.